Usually it's on the track. Usually it's on the track.
Time for us to start now. I request everyone at the back to be seated, please. A hearty welcome to all entrepreneurs, our mentors, our guests, and ecosystem partners. I hope you all are comfortably seated. I am Vatsala Khare from Incubation Center IIT Kanpur, your host for tonight. I would like you all to know a few names of our organizing team members who will be helping you for any and all requirements during the event. We have Ms. Sudha Selvaraj, Ms. Shweta Shukla, Ms. Anushri Gupta, Mr. Charles Avinash, Ms. Poorna Roy, and Mr. Abhishek Shukla with us. This is the launch event for Social Innovation Lab by City in collaboration with IIT Kanpur. This program is to celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit and the startup journey. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce Mr. Shrikant Shastri, a visionary whose journey from IIT Kanpur to becoming a guiding light for entrepreneurs across India and beyond exemplifies innovation and leadership. An author, a mentor, an entrepreneur, Sir has co-founded ventures that mark significant milestones in India's entrepreneurial landscape. His book, co-authored with Professor Amitabha Bandyopadhyay, The Ventilator Project, showcases the power of rapid innovation, while his series, Cello Startup, demystifies the entrepreneurial journey. As the chairperson of the Geospatial Data Promotion and Development Committee, his insights today promise to be invaluable for anyone looking to make an impact in the world of social innovation. The topic for today's session is Success Formula for 21st Century Social Innovation Startups. Shrikant sir, I request you to please come on stage. Dear team, please play the presentation.
Correct. Okay. So good evening, everyone. I was told I could stand at the podium or I need not, so I took the option of not standing at the podium. I was also told that in this hall, the startup founders are from third row and beyond. Since my presentation is mostly for startup founders, I want to come as close to them as possible, so I'm going to stand here. I know I'm going to mess up the video camera person's job here, but that's his problem, not mine. I want to be as close to the startups as possible. So welcome, everyone, to this session. I believe that all of you who are becoming entrepreneurs or are already entrepreneurs are entering at a time when the world is a very crazy place. And I'm hoping that I can share a few simple tips that will allow you to approach this crazy world boldly and succeed. But before I get into that, I want to thank both IIT Kanpur and Citibank, A, for inviting me, and B, for putting together such a wonderful cohort. Three cheers, big round of applause to both IIT Kanpur and Citibank. And of course, congratulations to the 75 disruptors. You're taking on bold challenges in climate change and agri-tech, the two areas that need all our attention at this point of time. And the fact that you've chosen to pursue this challenge means a huge thing for all of us and our future. So a big round of applause to the 75 disruptors who are in this hall. So this is a quick summary of what I'm going to cover today. I believe that entrepreneurship in general is difficult, but social entrepreneurship is even harder. It's a challenging journey, full of potholes, speed breakers. How do you succeed? You don't want to trip over and fall down. And if I can share with you a few tips that can help you prepare for these potholes or avoid these potholes or go around the speed breakers. In the colony where I live in Delhi, smart residents just break the speed breakers so the speed breakers no longer there. So maybe you come up with tricks like that to succeed in the journey. That's the summary of what I hope to do. I want to start, however, with a story. I first became an entrepreneur in the mid-1990s. I had just quit my job, an MNC, and I was attending a wedding in Delhi. And I ran into this gentleman. I don't even remember who that person is. That's why I put a question mark there. And I was telling him that this is what I'm planning to do. He said, great idea. A lot of businesses fail. But just keep in mind that they primarily fail for two reasons. If you take care of these two things, you can avoid failure. Reason number one is that partners fight among themselves. Reason number two is that they run out of money. He's saying, बाकी सारी चीजें manage हो जाती है, ये दो चीजें संभाल के देख लेना. Now, although I don't remember the face or the name of this person, I'm eternally grateful to him because very close we came to running out of money and fighting among the partners, we avoided it. Finally survived, and therefore I'm here to tell this tale. So those two pieces of advice stayed with me. So what I said is, if he gave me two pieces of advice which stayed with me, can I add some interest to it, compound interest to it, and give you 6 tips today? And I'm going to do it through 6 stories. Each story has a tip sitting inside it. The first story is that of this lady. Who's she? Naika, Falguni Nair. But before I talk of her story, let me do a quick rapid fire round with you. Very, very simple rapid fire round. And I'd like you to tell me who these people are. Who are the founders who are shown in these pictures? Very simple. Who's this? Sachin Bansal, Binny Bansal. Nandan Nilekani, Narayan Murthy, and Chris Gopalakrishnan. Simple again. Larry Page, Sergey Brin. Correct? Gets slightly harder. Black and white picture, so that tells you something. The original garage in Silicon Valley. Mr. Hewlett and Mr. Packard. Okay. Who's this? Now, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Vijay Shekhar Sharma. So you saw a bunch of pictures where there were co-founders. And you see a bunch of pictures which are sole founders. So Facebook, Tesla, Nykaa, Paytm all succeeded without a co-founder. I'm often asked, why do I need a co-founder? Anyone in this room? Quick question. The founders in this room, how many of you are sole founders? Raise your hands. How many have at least one more team of 2 co-founders? So you have more people with co-founders. Great. So that's good to know. So the answer to this, someone raised your hand to give me an answer. Go ahead, tell me. I know. So that's all. Support. So here's a good answer. She started off on her own. She's obviously done well, but she says she missed having a tech co-founder. So one of you said this, technology, complementary skills, and I belong to the school of thought which says you should have a co-founder. No one person can be a superman or superwoman. It was possible 20 years ago when the world was a much slower place. Today, the world moves much faster, technology moves much faster, competition moves much faster. You don't have a chance to go back and correct your mistakes. You need co-founders who can support you, work with you, and handle their respective areas of expertise. Second one, that's a comment that investors make very often, brutal statements. They tell a sole founder, if I give you money and you get run over by a bus tomorrow, what happens to my investment? And so that's an investor point of view. Third one, you need a shoulder to cry on. Startup journey is a lonely journey, difficult journey, more lows than highs. Very often people say, घर में जाके boyfriend, girlfriend, father, mother, किसी से बात कर लूंगा. They will not understand what you're going through. On a day-to-day basis, the troubles you're going through, it's hard to explain to someone outside, which is why co-founders are helpful, and some of you made that point already. So my tip number 1 is entrepreneurship in general and social entrepreneurship in particular is a difficult journey, likely to be easier with co-founders. The important part is the third sentence. Choose your co-founders well. Complementary skills is one answer. Chemistry is the other aspect. The second is relationship with co-founder has to be nurtured carefully. It's very easy to get into fights. Look at the fights you get into with your spouses at home, right? There are days when you want to pick up your spouse and throw him or her out of the window, correct? The same thing happens with co-founders. But it's as difficult a relationship. And the only way to do that is 2 or 3 tricks here. 1, agree upfront on a founder's agreement, which lays out the rights and responsibilities very clearly. Second, there has to be a first among equals. You can't have co-founders who are equal in all respects. There has to be one person who has the casting vote in case of key decisions. Most important, third one, there has to be mutual respect. The day you, as co-founders, start disrespecting each other, humiliating each other, end of story. That's why it has to be nurtured carefully. Tip number 2 is from a folktale. Which folktale is this? Kachua and Khargosh. So what's my story here? The hares in the Indian market have been these startups who raised lots of money very fast, wanted to move very fast. Flipkart, Ola, Paytm, Oyo, Big Basket, Byju's, and so on and so forth. Why do you think they raised money, so much money so quickly? Why do they want to be the rabbit or the hare? Anyone? They have to create a new market, so initially they need to spend a lot of money acquiring customers, building technology. Intention was to capture as much of the market as possible. Anything else?
Maybe they were chasing valuations.
Maybe they were chasing valuation. All three are good answers. But look at the two tortoises we know of, Zerodha and Zoho. Apart from the fact that they both start with a Z, what else is common? What characterizes them?
They're both bootstrapped.
They're both bootstrapped, zero funding, right? So look at it this way. Earlier, people used to say Zoho is a B2B business. B2B business you can raise without funding. Zerodha is a B2C business, right? Why do you think they were able to do it? Why could they work like tortoises? They were looking at what good answer. Anything else? They started focusing on the business with a good product, revenues, profits. What else? Existing market. Yes and no. If you take Zerodha, they've been around since 2009, 10 or whatever. The equity investing culture in India has been very, very low penetration. So it's a market creation activity even there actually. But let's leave there. Nykaa, somewhat different. Initially a tortoise. For a long time, Falguni Nair and her family is the one who put in money. Then came a stage when they raised money. But they raised money when they could dictate terms. At that stage, they raised money on their terms, did not get pushed around by investors, and then they ran like a hare. So you can actually be first a tortoise, then a hare. I've coined it a term called tor hare. What would you choose to be? The 75 entrepreneurs in this room. Do you want to be a hare, a tortoise, a tor hare, a hare tor, or something else? What do you think is right in the social entrepreneurship space for agri-tech and climate? Sorry? Tor hare. Go slowly, build a good product, make a name for yourself. Customers are good, revenues are good, unit economics are good, then raise money on your term. That's a one word use. So do I assume that everyone agrees that tor hare is an acceptable strategy, or you just want to think for more time? Hare tor can be worked out. You raise a lot of money initially and then slow down. Remember, once you ride a tiger, it's hard to get off a tiger. Just keep that in mind. शेर के मुंह में एक बार हाथ डाल दिया तो शेर हाथ निकालने नहीं देगा उसके बाद. It all. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. So there will be many situations you could be tor hare. But it depends on the situation. The only reason I'm flagging this is that mostly people don't think hard about it because your neighbor is chasing funding and valuation and Economic Times celebrates him. Everyone has a herd mentality. So that's the only thing I'm cautioning you against, which leads to another illness. The moment you start chasing valuation and funding, you get into this situation. You start fudging numbers so that you can raise money at a better valuation, and then you get into trouble. And if you're like Sam Bankman-Fried at FTX, you even go to jail because you're dealing in billions of dollars of fraud. And it's a tiger that you can never get off. You continue to ride it. I'm going to ask all of you a tricky question now. It's not an easy decision even for Go Mechanic and FTX. Imagine that you're one of those founders. You're the star of your industry. You're making media headlines. You have charisma. Every conference wants you as the keynote speaker. Your fame and reputation to live up to. One day, your CFO walks into your room and says, we are about to raise funding, but हमारा revenue target से कम होने वाला है. One of the people in the room, your co-founder, says, अगले quarter का booking order book आ गया, उसमें से revenue prepone कर लेते हैं. Another bold colleague says, order book में भी revenue नहीं है, लेकिन हम लोग ले लेते हैं, कोई देखेगा नहीं उसको. And then you start getting into this trap. It's impossible to get out of. But remember, you have fame, charisma, reputation. No one will call you for a keynote address if you don't raise that round of funding. What decision will you take? Will you take the decision to say, funding nahi hoti to nahi hoti, valuation kam hoti hai to hone do, but I will not do anything hanky-panky? Which school of thought? Is it an easy decision? It depends if you are chasing for valuation or you are chasing the impact it will create in the market. Okay. Let me ask you, I want all of you to put your hand on your heart and give me an honest answer. If 3 years ago you were in the shoes of Go Mechanic founder or FTX founder, would you have done what they did and raised that round of money? Honestly answer batao. You would say yes? No. Is there anyone who says, I might have situation, the pressures were such that I might have? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, imagine this is a difficult decision, and I would not criticize anyone who to date had the courage to say, I understand and empathize with what he did. Is there anyone? Yeah? So it's a dilemma. It's not a black or white situation. Black or white के बीच में बहुत सारे grays हैं. कौन से gray पे you want to stop is the question, correct? It's not a black and white situation, and therefore it's not an easy decision. So my tip number 2 to you is raise and spend money carefully. Don't go after herd mentality. Don't chase media headline and don't take shortcuts, because eventually it lands you in a mess. I know it's a dilemma. I know it's full of grace, but I'm just asking you to build this into your muscle memory कि ऐसी नौबत आएगी तो मैं क्या करूंगा या क्या करूंगी. It's important to have thought through some of these things in advance. Story number 3 is Airbnb. It's a very interesting story. When the first time Airbnb sent its pitch deck to the partner at Anderson Horowitz, this is the reaction they got. The partner says, I thought it was possibly the stupidest idea I ever heard. This was the initial reaction. But something changed. The same partner says, after speaking with Brian Chesky, the founder, I went from complete skeptic to complete believer in 29 minutes, and that round they raised $112 million. What do you think changed? Sorry? Conviction and clarity of the founder. What else? Sorry? Practice. Traction, not really. This happened in a short period of time. Sorry? How did that change? What could have changed? The passion and conviction of the founder is one. Vision shared by the founder. Someone said story. It's about how the founder is able to, when you just send the pitch deck, it's a black and white document that does not speak. When you're in front of someone, are you able to sell your vision? And I'm going to take a completely different example. I'm a foodie, so very often I take food examples. Imagine you're a chef. You're trying to pitch a particular dish that you're an expert at to a bunch of consumers. I'm going to show you two pitches and tell me which one has more impact. The first pitch is by a Mexican chef who's pitching a dish called guacamole. This is his pitch, one slide pitch, a nice visual, a set of ingredients, and a description of the steps. What's your view of this pitch? Heavy on text. What else? Verbose. What else? Would you get excited? No. Why? No benefits mentioned? Let me show you another pitch. This is a Korean pitch who's pitching a dish called kimchi. He says, my name is Kim Myung Sung. I make various types of fermented Korean food, including kimchi. For Korea, kimchi is a symbol of national pride. For me, kimchi represents love and future. I started my career because I wanted to make the perfect kimchi for my wife. Well-made kimchi is fresh, crispy, lightly tingly. You start with napa cabbage or white radish, salt it down. And then he says, add seasoning, ferment it at low temperatures. I met with several experts to understand the craft better. And that's how I perfected my current recipe. We must pass on the legacy of our culinary culture to our future generations. I believe if we innovate, we can connect the past and the present. Which pitch made more impact? What was there in the second one, which was missing in the first one? Storyline, personal connect. What else? Passion was coming out. What else? Appeal of the product. What else? Visuals. Communication is engaging. I'll answer that question after this slide. So the tip number 3 is that those who tell stories rule the world. Very often, founders who come from a technical background believe कि मैंने product बहुत बढ़िया बना दिया, now the world will want that product. And they even delegate the task of going and pitching to someone else in the team. Don't do that. You have to be a storyteller first. There are two parts to the story. There has to be logic for the brain, and there has to be emotion for the heart. Very often, it's the heart that decides whether or not I want to buy this product. I'll give you a great example. Look at every year before Diwali or whenever we go for shopping, we have a certain budget in mind and we go to the mall. Then something catches our attention in the show window or the store. It's 3,000 rupees more expensive than the budget you went in mind with. But you fell in love with it. Your heart wants it. Then your brain justifies it with logic to say, आज मैं 3,000 रुपए extra खर्च कर लेता हूं, अगले 6 महीने shopping नहीं करूंगा. Same thing happens with investors. The moment you touch their heart and the heart says, मुझे इस business में पैसे डालने हैं, they will find the rationale to justify it to themselves. You don't have to justify it to them. Therefore, that is what your pitch has to be successful. To answer one of your questions, one of the things I encourage a lot of the startups I mentor is that in your initial pitch, send a 90-second video. It's like a trailer for a movie, right? Very often we decide to watch a movie or not watch a movie after watching a trailer. Can you create a 90-second video which has the drama, the emotion, and the logic to catch that person's attention? And that person says, now I want to meet you. And then you go with your full pitch deck. That's one way to do it. There are other ways to do it also. What's this equation? 1,500 by 90,000 equal to 1.67%. Response to what? No. So, anyone else? Successful funding rate. In India, the number of startups today, the number keeps changing on Startup India website. It's about 110,000, but I made the slide when it was 90,000. That's the denominator. The numerator is the number of startups who get formal funding every year, which means only 1.67% of startups are getting formal funding. If you want to be part of that 1.67%, You need to be able to tell your story. You need to build logic plus emotion in that story. Think of a way of doing that. That's my message number 3 for you. Story number 4, and in her introduction, Vatsala mentioned that I chair a national committee now on India's liberalized geospatial policy. So part of that, last month I was at ISRO's National Remote Sensing Center in Hyderabad. This is the place, along with 3 such centers, that gets all the satellite signals from all the civilian satellites that ISRO has. These are the ground stations. So they've been getting it for the last 30 years and they continuously keep getting it. But what they use the satellite data for came as a stunning revelation for me. And I've just picked 2 or 3 slides here because all of you are from the agri sector and climate change sector. For example, in agri sector, you can actually look at the satellite data to figure out all this. Crop monitoring system, crop health index, where is crop intensifying, bioenergy, rice crop monitoring. So the number of things that is available just by access to this data is phenomenal. Likewise in climate, groundwater recharge, groundwater potential, mineral prospect mapping, seismic hazard zonation, landslide hazard zonation. That's the kind of thing that's available simply by analyzing the satellite data. What we're trying to do in this committee is to make this data available to the public through a portal, just like UPI allows you to send and receive payments. We're going to put this portal out where from 20 government agencies, all this data, satellite data, drone data, sensor data will be made available for startups to use. Just as fintechs have built applications on top of UPI, you can build agri-tech applications, climate tech applications on top of this. And there are 30 such sources of data, maps, satellite data, GIS data, etc. And we're compiling all of that. Presently, it's an offline catalog, but later part in 2024, we'll actually have a portal through APIs. You can get the data and build applications. And I wanted to leave this thought with you to say, as you think of building your product, keep this in mind. You will have immense opportunities here. If you want to know more about it, we'll obviously touch base offline about this. And end of this year, we'll have a portal called UGI, which will provide seamless access to anything that you can think of. So this opens up possibilities. All the location-specific data that sits inside the government has been closely guarded so far, will be publicly available. This can become a force multiplier for you. Right now, a draft version of the catalog is available. I will request the SIRC team to just mail the catalog to all of you so that you know what kind of data is available. Tip number 5, story number 5. Who's this lady? When do you think this picture was taken? Rio Olympics? Which year? 2016. So what is the imagery that you get when you watch PV Sindhu here? What is your immediate reaction when you see this picture? Passion, what else? The joy of the winning moment? Huh? Hard work pays off? Determination? Sorry? Determination. So here's the story. This passion, she actually is considered to have a certain killer instinct. This is what the picture conveys. But rewind 3 years earlier, 2013, when she was training at Pullela Gopichand's academy in Hyderabad. Sindhu was a good player, but Gopichand felt she lacked the killer instinct. He was trying to instill that into her. And in order to do that, he was telling Sindhu, every time you win a point, I want you to scream on the court. And Sindhu's personality was such that she could not get herself to scream. Gopichand insisted, she still would not. One day he told her, agar aaj scream nahi karoge, I will send all the players home and I'll shut the academy down. Sindhu still did not scream. So he actually told all the players to go home. Obviously, Sindhu was very upset because she felt personally responsible. She came back the next day, a changed person, and she started screaming on the court. And that led her to display that passion and commitment and killer instinct very visibly. And that stood her in good stead. The point I wanted to make was we all need to move out of our comfort zone. And as entrepreneurs, the message I want to leave with all of you is we're all good at some things, but there are other things that we need to learn to be successful entrepreneurs, which require us to move out of that comfort zone. And unless we do that, you will not, the chances are that startup will not succeed. What are those areas? When I look at engineers and MBAs around me, and I'm assuming that many of you entrepreneurs are engineers and or MBAs, we're very good at problem solving. The things on the left side, critical thinking, adaptability, leadership, decision making. But the things on the right side are areas that usually are a weakness for people in India. Creativity, oral, written, public speaking, presentation, communication, networking and social skills, collaboration, listening. हम लोग बोलना पसंद करते हैं, सुनते कम है, and that's an area of weakness. And finally, AI. I put a question mark there because it's an area that all of us need to build into our business as an enabler, as a force multiplier. So ask yourself whether the things on the right side and AI are missing in the portfolio of things that you do. If so, move out of your comfort zone, ensure that you incorporate those. That is what will make or break your business. Final story. Who is Michael Phelps? What makes him famous? Why? Came 26 medals, came back after a long break. Anyone else? Good answers. He's in all won 28 Olympic golds, 28 Olympic medals, 23 are gold. He won 8 medals in a single Olympic, 2008 Beijing Olympics. Those are the 8 medals. Here's what happened. The third, he had won 3 gold medals already. The fourth race was the 200-meter butterfly race. Michael Phelps dived into the pool at the start of the race. The moment he dived in, he realized that his goggles had started leaking. अंदर पानी भरना शुरू हो गया. All of us would have got phased and paralyzed by that. अब मैं कैसे swim करूं? He calmly switched to counting the number of strokes. He knew exactly how many strokes from one end of the pool to the other. In that mode, he won the gold medal. Was it a spontaneous decision कि मैं stroke count करूंगा? No. The previous 4 years while preparing for these Olympics, he had anticipated every eventuality, every bottleneck, every challenge. And he had said, if this happens, I will do this. If that happens, I will do that. And fundamentally, the point I wanted to, and that's what happens. In our startups, we need healthy paranoia, just like Michael Phelps had. I call it healthy paranoia. The ability to say what can go wrong. कौन गुगली फेंकेगा, कौन इन फिंगर फेंकेगा, कौन आउट फिंगर फेंकेगा, कहां पे पॉथहोल होगा, कहां पे स्पीड ब्रेकर होगा, how will I navigate that? The reason I say this is the startup world is full of these obstacles, and most of them are known obstacles. You talk to people in this room, you will figure out 90% of the obstacles you're likely to encounter. Figure out and have a plan of what you will do in that case. That will ensure that you don't get frustrated or don't fall flat when the situation actually happens. That's my tip number 6. So to summarize, these are my 6 tips. Nurture and build a great team of co-founders. That's a lesson from the Nykaa story. Avoid media headlines, herd mentality, and shortcuts. That's the hare and tortoise folktale. Tell stories, rule the world, logic plus emotion. That's the Airbnb and kimchi story. Tap into hidden gems, the data that is sitting in the geospatial data for which the catalog will be made available to you. Number 5, move out of your comfort zone, learn 21st century skills, including AI. That's the Sindhu story. And finally, tip number 6, things will go wrong, but you need healthy paranoia to anticipate those obstacles. That's the Michael Phelps story. So 5 stories, 6 stories, 6 tips, hopefully lots for you to think about. Wish you the very best in your startup journey in the City Innovation Lab. Good luck. Questions? We can pass microphones around the room. We have time. little bit about geospatial data? Sure. So basically, till a year ago, all data which was geospatial. What is geospatial? Location intelligence. When we were learning geography at school, what did location mean? Latitude, longitude, and elevation of a location. But thanks to satellites, drones, sensors, and other digital technologies, you can add many more features to a location. Unfortunately, until now, all that data was sitting with the government, and for national security reasons, it was guarded closely. So under the liberalization policy now, it's a data will be made available to everyone. And a lot of it is satellite. So all that data we're going to aggregate in one portal and make it available. And there are use cases in agriculture. I have heard from agriculture startups that if I get precise soil data, weather data at a farm level, I can help increase yields. I've heard from agriculture startups that if we get accurate farm boundaries, we can improve farm insurance and farm lending, for example. So there are plenty of such use cases and applications that can be developed by simply by accessing the data and analyzing it. And that's what we're hoping to make available this year. It'll happen step by step. Initially, we published an offline catalog. You know what data is available. You can go to the respective source, log in and try and get the data yourself. But as the year progresses, we will make it available seamlessly through a portal. Yeah, government now has an open data policy, but open data policy still means you have to struggle to get the data. Whereas we're going to try and make the experience very, very easy for you to get the data.
So just last question. Will that data be mapped with the locations? For example, if I'm talking about, let's say, sitting here, then would I know that this particular data is mapped to higher?
That's right. So by geospatial, it means data pertaining to a location, to a latitude and longitude.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions? Sorry?
So regarding the hair and textile story, so if some person having some unique product, he can sell. Then in future there will be much more competition. Other will go on making their product, and then the hair tortoise and tortoise is wrong.
Yeah. So one of the wrong myths that is there in startup circles, people believe that idea is what matters. In reality, executing that idea is what matters. Because you sit around dinner today, we can table 10 ideas, doesn't mean it becomes a business tomorrow. And to me, a great example is Microsoft. It's rarely the first company with an idea. It's always, it takes decisions slowly, lets other people run faster, learns from mistakes, and then progresses carefully. So I'm saying, don't worry. The markets in India are large. There is place for multiple players in a market. You don't have to be worried about the first person to be in the market, to grab as much market as possible. There will always be a market for you. And therefore, to say, only if I raise a lot of money, to be the first off the mark, and to grab as much customers as possible can I succeed, that's probably the wrong strategy. You don't have to worry that someone else is going to run away with the idea. The market is large enough in India, or in the world for that matter.
Yesterday I was discussing with the different customers that MNC, large MNC like IBM, Microsoft, they do a lot of market research before they launch their products or solution in market. However, not all the startups are actually following this standard framework of doing rigorous market research. So you would like to acknowledge that also, sir, just because, you know, most of the startup feel that they can go in a Steve Jobs way, right? Because Steve Jobs believe in a product, right?
Yeah. So you're right. The old way, I'm not recommending the old, very slow way of an IBM. But on the other hand, Steve Jobs was a genius. All of us can't be geniuses. So the startup industry has an interesting agile methodology called the MVP methodology, right? MVP is a quick way of testing something, validating a hypothesis, making mistakes, and saying, okay, this is not working, let me try something else. So the middle path is available for startup. The agile methodology is the MVP methodology in the startup world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So going back to the tortoise and hare story, So just going back to the here and daughter story, we've hardly seen any exits for specifically the social enterprise sector. Such, we've not seen any IPO as such. So in that case, is Tortoise the only by default mode for social startups specifically?
Yeah. So you're saying startups, we have social startups, we haven't seen any IPOs. Is that the point?
Yes, not many IPOs, not many exits as such, as compared to, say, commercial.
Yeah. So even if you look at commercial IPOs among startups, until 2018, when Flipkart got acquired by Walmart, investors were worried that India में कोई exit path दिख नहीं रहा है करके. So after that exit happened, there have been other acquisitions, and last 2 years there have been some IPOs also. So IPOs of startups are still of recent origin in India. So even the big commercial ones right now, many of them, think Oyo, think some of the others, they haven't gone IPO yet. They're holding back. So IPO for social startups, I'm not surprised it hasn't happened because that market is still maturing. But having said that, I don't think an exit of an IPO does need to happen, because if you run a business profitably, there can be other ways of exits. One, you may not even get acquired by someone. You just continue to run the business profitably. Second, there are alternative methods like the SME exchange and the small exchange which are coming up, which will create pathways. So it is something to think about. But you're right, exits, those kind of IPOs are still far and few between. So we have to think of alternatives. Either continue running the business profitably, or someone acquires it, or one of the small and medium exchanges will come actually. Yeah.
Sir, this is Akash from Pharmology. So my question is related to the geospatial data actually. One of the challenges what we see in the current ecosystem is each and every state, right? The data is being, put across in different formats.
Yeah.
Somewhere it's in plots, somewhere it's in survey number, right? And that becomes too tough for us when you're doing a kind of a mapping, or whether we do any sort of validation of the data itself, right? So with the geospatial data, do you think we'll be able to solve that? Because that's one of the major challenges.
Yeah, so one of the big things we're doing is data standards and harmonization. It won't happen overnight, but we're putting standards in place so that all the data that comes into the portal will have a certain structure. Initially, you may not get it that easily because it'll take a time for past data to get converted, or even new data that gets collected by government agencies, all of them to fall in line. But standards and harmonization is a big focus for us.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, one question there.
Hi, sir. We are working currently in the field of ocean energy and wave energy. And I just wanted to ask you from the geospatial data perspective that are we just going to get data for the land mass, or is there any provision? Are there any data sources out there if we have to tap that ocean data? Because that is something which is very hard to get right now. And currently, I think NIOT and Inquis are the only organizations currently which are dealing with that.
Yeah. So very much bathymetric data, as it's called, is very much on the radar. Except that because there's so much to be done, the policy itself lays out objectives which are to be met in the next 1 year, next 5 years. At this point of time, the ocean data is part of phase 2, but it's very much part of, we're not ignoring ocean data in that sense, actually. Yeah. Okay, so if there are no more questions, thank you very much. I'll hand over to you, Valsala.
Thank you, Shrikant sir. This was an excellent presentation. We have so many founders here. I hope you've all enjoyed the session and learned a lot from Shrikant sir today. Okay, to go ahead, to share with you all, we have a lot of mentors from who have agreed to be officially on the mentor pool of SIIC Kanpur. One of which is Mr. Chandas. I would like to call Chansar on stage. Chansar is an alumni and mentor of IIT Kanpur. Sir, I request you to be on stage. Sir is a business and leadership coach, a startup mentor, an angel investor. He has previously served as the CEO of Education and Stationery Products at ITC Limited. Sir is here to share the vision that the incubator carries and how Sir has mentored the startups at IIT Kanpur. Best you, sir. Yes, sure. Please pass the mic on to him.
Well, this wasn't the original plan, but I must say that on the table sitting right here, there are a number of mentors on the IIT Kanpur SIIC mentor pool. I'll request the mentors to stand up for a minute so that you can see them. Please. JSS, Anil Jori, Anil Chaudhary. Any more? Yeah. So the thing is, gentlemen here, and there are about 70 or 80 others on the mentor pool of SIIC. These are people who are very committed to the startup ecosystem and will be delighted to work with many or most of you to help you solve your pain points as they occur, right? So I would like you to welcome mentorship. I think mentorship, in my opinion, adds a lot of value because you get an external viewpoint from people who have built businesses and who can also share with you potential pitfalls. You heard in Shrikant's presentation that things can go wrong and you need to be very, very focused. You need to be very deliberate in what you do so that your startup scales and becomes interesting for the next investor. Or even if you wish to tomorrow scale it up on your own and go to an IPO. Many of you may know this, but I would still like to mention that there is a social stock exchange which is in the works now. In fact, in the very first instance, there are some not-for-profits which are approaching the social stock exchange for funding. And very soon, the for-profits also are going to be added. So there was a question on impact, startups and fundability and growth. I think it doesn't necessarily mean that in all cases you need external investors. Sometimes you can bootstrap, you can build a business, and you can actually take it to the social stock exchange, right? So I'm standing here really more to make you aware, A, that there is a mentor pool, and B, that the mentor is somebody who is deeply committed to helping the startup ecosystem, especially incubatees like the 75 of you, because all of you are going to go through an incubation process. But at the end of the incubation process, what is the next step? The next step will be that you will go out into the big bad world and you will then have to build the business on your own, right? So it's very important that while you are under incubation, the incubator, along with the mentors, give you a lot of inputs, give you a handhold you, sit with you, shoulder to shoulder, and help you, let me say, develop your muscles, right? So that you are better prepared to build and run your business once the incubation phase is over, right? As you probably know, the startup ecosystem is very much like, a conveyor belt. So initially you are bootstrapped, money is coming from family and friends. Then you move into incubation, you may get some grant funding. Citibank will give you some money too, right? After that grant funding and incubation, you may need to go to angel investors. I'm an angel investor myself, and I have a portfolio of about 30 companies. Many of them went through incubation and became investable, which is why people like me and several other angels have invested in those companies. So after incubation, you get to angel investing. Then once you're in the angel network, you then start knocking doors of VCs. You look at private equity, you look at strategic investors. So you can well imagine that it's a long journey. Everybody doesn't have to go through all the stages. The point I'm trying to make is we are here as a mentor pool to help you better prepare for taking your startup, if you wish, through all these phases. If you don't wish, we can also help you become strong so that you can run it on your own and maybe list on the social stock exchange. So that's really what I wanted to share more because, sometimes you may be unaware or, you may be hesitant. Don't feel hesitant, because the reason we are empaneled is because we genuinely believe we are in a position to help. And we also bring our own networks. Sometimes, other than giving you advice, we might also be able to open some doors with customers or open some doors with investors, right? So there's a little bit that can be added in many, many areas, right? Shrikant talked about the reasons why startups fail, and he talked about co-founders, chemistry, and co-founders splitting. That's a solid reason. Second one is startups run out of cash. Very important reason. And maybe I'd just like to add one third, which is, are you really working with customers while you are developing your product and your prototype and your business idea? Have you actually gone and met customers? Are you working with them? Are you sharing with them? Are you co-creating with them? The problem I find with a lot of technology entrepreneurs is that they fully bake the product and then go looking for customers. Sometimes that may be late, right? And it may not always work. So my experience tells me that during the incubation journey, please also use your time to go and meet prospects, meet customers, meet potential customers, engage with them, and improve your product or service so that when you are through with incubation, you have a market which is ready to take you and to grow you. Ultimately, you need customers, right? Otherwise, you don't have a business. So for me, that is a very, very, very important area to focus on during incubation. It's not just about prototyping your product or service. It is also about meeting customers and co-creating along with them, right? Now, so I will stop here because I can go on and on, right? Once again, I'd like to throw open the floor in case you have questions about mentorship and how mentors can add value, or any questions connected to incubation. So I'm on the IIT Kanpur incubator. I'm also at NSR Cell, IIM Bangalore with Wilgrow, which is a social enterprise incubator, and so on. So a number of us are on multiple incubators as mentors. And why are we there? Because we are passionate and we also feel like giving back in a sense. Because our journeys of business or corporate are over, right? It's now about giving back. Okay, back to you. The floor is open. Yeah, please.
there a way to consolidate the advisory role?
Yeah, there are many ways. There is something called sweat equity, all right, which you may offer to mentors. But a lot of the mentors, I must add, on the SIIC mentor pool are not there for any gratification, all right? They are there because they genuinely want to help. And if you want the journey to continue, let's say, as you're asking, post-incubation, maybe a longer term, so there are, yeah, sweat equity is certainly one very common option. Yeah? Right. Any other questions? Go ahead, don't feel shy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question regarding the mentor pool.
Yeah.
So, what are the backgrounds and experiences of these mentors will be like in specific domains? Like how would it work?
So if you go into the SIIC pool and the the facilitators here like Vatsala and her team, all our profiles are there. So you have to see what suits you. Now, let me caution you, there are 2-3 things. One is you need something called a journey partner or an anchor mentor, somebody who comes in and can give you all-round advice, right? If you have a specific domain problem, let's say you need a particular technology input or something, that expert can also be brought in through the mentor, through SIIC. So it doesn't mean that the mentor is a superman or a superwoman. Yeah?
Yeah.
The mentor is an enabler, can give you sound business advice, right? And also connect you to some expert as and when may be required, right? So that both these things happen. Okay?
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Take the mic.
I am Narayan. I am an alumni of IIT Roorkee. So I'm not part of that mentor network as such. If I want to become a mentor to any startup, is there any process to do that?
You have to contact the SIIC team, and they have a group of people. Vatsala here, for example, you should straight away share your credentials with her.
Thank you. Thank you.
And she will talk to you, and maybe you get onboarded. There is a slight onboarding process.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to share the passion and the exuberance. All right?
Sure.
Which I think you have.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Any of the other mentors want to say something?
Yes. We have.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Anil sir.
Thank you. Just I would like to add what Mr. Das has told just now. I am Anil Chaudhary actually. So that while we are going for this development process in our entrepreneurship, then many things will be there. That one thing was told in just by Shrikantji, that the first mover aspiration is always there. If you are bringing with the product, coming with the product, you are thinking that your product should get launched very immediately and something like that. So it's a trade-off in this case. The first mover's advantage is always there, but then if your product is not that much ready, which you are understanding, then 100% you have to work on that. So that kind of thing is required. But that is a very difficult proposition. For example, I will take example of this very popular thing, Xerox and Maggi. It has become a synonymous to photocopy and the noodles because they were the first movers. So they had all the time advantage. And then second thing is that it doesn't mean that they only have the market. So India's market is so large that if you're not very much confident, then you can hold on. But then again, I have told you the caution that is a very trade-off thing. That is one thing. And second thing, you have to see the sustainability of your business and product. That sustainability means never fall in love with your product. You fall in love with the purpose which you are going with. purpose which you are going with. For example, I will take one example with the public sector company, Indian Oil. Indian Oil is a oil producing company, oil refining and everything. So what if the oil goes away from scenario? What if? So what will the Indian Oil will stop growing? So Indian Oil has to think that they are energy givers. So they will transform themselves into the energy sector, energy thing. But that kind of thinking, if you have brought in certain product, then you have to keep on innovating every time. So that kind of thinking is to be thought of. And then other thing is that sustainable financing. Sustainable financing means you have to fall in this category of this ESG compliance. So that ESG compliance is a, let's say it will become some regulatory thing, something like that. Don't think it is regulatory, but still it is required for the sustainability thing. There are certain examples. Let's say somebody is putting up the solar power plant. So when you are putting it, you will be needing investment and everything. While you are putting it, then you must be thinking of who are the ones who are going to buy it, buy the power. So all the things, those where you are putting it, who are going to buy the power, everything. So that should be planned at the stage of the conceptualization only. And if you are going to work on that, then your project will be quite efficient in the financing. Again, I will take example of this Riva power plant project. What they did when they were putting up the plant, they already tied up with this metro rail of Delhi. So they become the consumer of that before it was set up. Then investors become very much eager to invest in that. And then there's certain bank guarantee thing and everything. Some norms were made less stringent. So investors came like anything, and the project was made viable in no time. So if you are working in all kinds of stakeholders, that will become a very good proposition in all the cases. And another point, just one more point is coming, that whenever you think of the product, you see how the user is going to use that. So means if you think that your product is very good, you have made some let's say something which cleans the environment, and then you go to municipalities and sell it. Municipalities will not be able to appreciate unless you tell how they are going to use it and you aid to it. So because just the product is fantastic, it just doesn't mean that you will be able to just make them use it. I will take simple example of this LED retrofitting, which I come from Energy Efficiency Services Limited. So that they brought in LED a few years back. What happened when the LED lights from the roads were to be retrofitted? LED was innovated, developed, piloted, everything. It was a very good product which came out. But then municipalities were very hesitant how to replace it. Then the public company EESL, from which I belong to, what they thought, they not only brought the LED, they brought in the infrastructure to replace it and to maintain it for 7 years. So that kind of thing has been done. So everybody doesn't have to do it for the 7 years, but you have to think how the ecosystem will be there so that your products can be used. So that kind of thinking you will have to put in all the time when you are going for this journey. So thank you. I just took the mic and told you. Okay, thank you very much.
So much, Anil sir.
Thank you.
So I am Vatsala. I lead the mentorship program at IIT Kanpur. Any startup who wants to have a word about this mentorship program, please connect with me during the dinner time. Prithvi Vyapa, Anilo, Vayuva kham mano buddhi revacha, ahankar ityam me bhiन्न, prakriti rishtadha. This shlok is taken from our Bhagavad Gita. It is, it means that earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intellect, and ego. These are the 8 separated energies of our material existence. The shloka emphasizes the interconnectedness of all the elements of nature and the need to respect and preserve them. With this vision of making our Mother Earth sustainable, we start the day. A very good evening to our esteemed guests, innovators, and visionaries. I am Vatsala Khare from IIT Kanpur. It's my privilege to welcome you to the launch of our program, the Social Innovation Lab by City, a landmark initiative fostering groundbreaking solutions in the domains of agri-tech and clean tech in this cohort. We are thankful to Citi for carrying forward the initiative of sustainability and boosting the startup ecosystem towards the SDGs. The Startup Incubation and Innovation Center at IIT Kanpur aims to develop cutting edge technologies grounded in science and engineering innovations to solve pressing problems of the country, focusing on the underprivileged strata. It provides the right space and opportunities for converting your startup ideas into products and businesses. We are starting a journey today to support 75 startups that have the potential to use innovation and technology to completely transform our social fabric. Our collaboration with Citi highlights our shared dedication to advancing startups and enterprises in their early stages with an emphasis on clean technology and sustainable agriculture. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Nikhil Agarwal, the CEO of Startup Incubation and Innovation Center, IIT Kanpur, to kindly come on the stage and welcome our esteemed guests for the event. I would like to invite the chief guest of today's event to be seated on this stage, Dr. Rajneesh Ji. He is the Additional Secretary and Development Commissioner from the Ministry of MSME. My pleasure to invite you, sir. Now I would like to invite Professor Amitabha Bandyopadhyay, the co-professor in charge of the Startup Incubator at IIT Kanpur. Next, I would like to invite Professor S.C. Srivastav, the Program Director of Social Innovation Lab. I would request Professor Srivastav to kindly felicitate our CEO, Dr. Nikhil Agarwal also. Yes, sir. May I request the dignitaries to please inaugurate the event by lighting the lamp. Thank you, sir. We request all of you to be seated. Now I would like to request Nikhil sir to give a welcome note and kindly address the context and kindly set the context for this momentous occasion. I welcome you, sir. Shazia? Not yet.
Professor Bandyopadhyay has given me instruction to ask everyone. So he's a professor, you have to listen to him. You have to turn off your mobile phone or put it silent. So in fact, I'll tell you a very interesting story. A few weeks back, Professor Bandyopadhyay and I were speaking to each other, and we discussed about that what is the definition of deep tech. And we discussed about artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, embedded technology, quantum. And then he made a very interesting statement that why we are going with a bookish definition of a deep tech. Why can't a bioagriculture company be a deep tech company? And then we've taken a bit of a pause for a few seconds, and we agreed that the new definition of deep tech has to emerge. Today, I'm so glad to welcome you to the second edition of City Innovation Lab. Today is a momentous day. We started this journey 2 years back with a cohort of just 29 companies. And today we are extremely delighted to welcome 75 companies. And you'll be very proud to know, at least in my memory, and a lot of other mentors will agree, it's the largest ever cohort of its kind in the history of India. No other IIT, no other institution has onboarded 75 deep impact companies in one go. So today is a historic day. So certainly we should all celebrate and clap once more time. I'm very thankful to Citibank, led by Mr. Ashu Khullar, who is the CEO, and assisted by Shaheen and the team for coordinating and trusting IIT Kanpur and redesigning this whole program, which is called Social Innovation Lab. There is a small PPT which I would like to show you, which will show you our journey of how the Citibank and IIT Kanpur has worked together in designing the two cohorts of SIL. Okay. It's always a Moore's law, the technology has not to work. And particularly when the presentation is by an IIT, the technology should not work. Here we go. So we started the first Social Innovation Lab in April 2022. And the focus area were agri-tech, health tech, and fintech. This program was first co-developed with the help of T-Hub, IIT Kanpur, and Citibank. And that was height of COVID time. In fact, the whole discussion started in 2021. And one of the vice president, who is in fact here today, Devashish Ghosh, so he drove down from Bombay to Hyderabad just to have that discussion. And I remember discussing with the Citibank official that how do we co-design, how do we create this kind of program which never been thought about. This whole discussion started that there are certain focus areas which are important not only for the institution like IIT Kanpur, but also for the country. So we decided to take agri-tech, health tech, and fintech. And despite of the height of COVID and aftermath of COVID, we received 300 applications, 78 applications in fintech, 114 in health tech, and 136 companies have applied to us in agri-tech. Finally, after doing the shortlisting, we were able to shortlist 29 companies. 13 companies were in fintech, 9 were in agri-tech, and 7 were in health tech. And many of these companies you will also meet today. We have invited our alumnus to be part of this event. we were able to convince Mr. Nandan Nilekani to be part of the launch event. And in fact, he said, the slowly ideas lead to ideology, lead to policies that lead to action. And Mr. Nilekani had demonstrated some of this work, that whole idea of not only creating an Infosys, but creating an Aadhaar and building up a what we call the Bharat stack today. He has played a deep role. The role is not only to onboard the companies and provide them money, but role is to take these companies to the next level, where the role of our mentors comes in. We onboarded approximately 100 mentors, and many of them are also here today. Thanks a lot, mentors, for supporting us, and who worked with us continuously on daily basis with companies. There was structured mentoring program were done with all the companies, and these mentors have provided technology support, mentorship support, business to business support, along with the labs and the infrastructure that we have at our campus. And what is the lasting impact that was created just by 29 companies? Some of the graphs you can see here. In more than 50, in fact, 4 is come down. Let me tell you, there's a typo here. 54 awards were won by our companies nationally. More than $600,000 worth of government funding, which is always difficult to have. You can understand that 600,000 government funding will have a more than 8 to 10 times of impact funding that will be there. So that was created by our startups. $8 million venture capital was raised by these 29 companies. So the impact was phenomenal. So we took this impact to Citibank, and Citibank said that, okay, why don't we do something more bigger, something more impactful? And there comes the Social Innovation Lab, second edition. We narrowed down the areas to more impactful agri-tech and clean tech. And you'll be surprised to know, we received more than 900 applications for this call. More than 650 applications were physically evaluated. And those who are here, 75 companies, they will know that how rigorous was the evaluation was at all level. The discussion has gone, the one-to-one interaction has happened, and finally these 75 companies are onboarded. 15 out of 75 companies, 15 companies are selected for accelerator program, and 60 companies are selected for an early stage incubation program. Now this 75 companies, probably next year when we launch the third season of it, we will see that what kind of impact that will create. This impact could be lasting impact that can create sort of a template for other corporate to come forward and participate in innovation, of what we call the co-creation of innovation. The role of the government, role of the private sector, role of the academia. So that makes the triple helix complete. There has to be a lasting role, that has to be impactful, that has to be a co-creation activity that has to happen. And I'm very thankful for all the mentors, startups, funding organization, government. And not only we did that with the bank, but also we did these ideas to the government. We took these ideas to Ministry of Urban Affairs. We co-designed a program with them where the Ministry of Urban Affairs is now supporting 25 companies last year and 25 companies again this year. And they are writing letters to the ULBs across the country in asking them and requesting them that you should buy the solution or you should implement the solution of these startups in these ULBs. So starting from funding giving the small funding, connecting them with ULBs and implementing the solution in the ULBs. ULBs is urban local bodies, which is commonly called municipalities, is creating a more deeper impact at the all India level. So I would be very keen to invite the other corporate who are here in working with us, and probably we can co-design certain programs, not only limited to agri-tech and health tech, but also in biosciences, also in defense technology, also in cybersecurity, also in artificial intelligence, and come with such kind of impactful program, which will not only benefit the startups immediately, but also will create a lasting impact on our country. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot for coming here. And I look forward for a meaningful interaction this evening.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words and sharing about the first cohort of Social Innovation Lab at IIT Kanpur. Now we are going to present before you the unveiling video of the exciting way forward. Abhishek, request you to please play the video. Thank you, Abhishek. We now move to the next feature in our launch event. It is my privilege to invite Professor S.C. Srivastav for the inaugural address and enlighten us as we gear up on this journey of social change through technology and human empathy. Sir was a professor at IIT Kanpur in the Electrical Engineering Department. He has joined us recently.
Thank you, Vasila, and very good evening to all of you. And Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Rajneesh, who is Additional Secretary, MSME. I think Mr. Kuller is very soon going to join. He was stuck in traffic jam. He is CEO of City India. Dr. Nikhil Agrawal, CEO of the SIIC, and Dr. Amitava Bandyopadhyay, who is the PIC, co-PIC of the SIIC first. And our colleagues from SIIC and IIT Kanpur, our distinguished alumni who are present here, mentors, dear entrepreneurs, and all members of the innovative ecosystem. It's my great pleasure welcoming all of you to the launch event of the Social Innovation Lab 2.0, SIL2. It is my great pleasure, and I'm really excited to witness this event that culminates our collective efforts towards nurturing social impact innovations. I must thank City India for the generous support they have given in the past and also in the present journey of the new innovators which are going to join. The Social Innovation Lab has been an extraordinary journey, fostering groundbreaking innovations that have the power to create a lasting positive impact. City India, T-Hub, and IIT Kanpur, as have been told in the video and also by Nikhil, that in the previous program, they supported 29 social impact startups, and in healthcare, agriculture, fintech domains. Now, this stellar cohort, through their product development journey and access to market, have done wonderful impact through this city program. The figure was given in US dollar. I will just quote in Indian rupees that they raised about Indian rupees 67 crore from private investors and about 5 crore from the government grants. It is indicative of the quality mentoring and support offered under the program. Moreover, these startups have generated a revenue of about 15 crore Indian rupees, demonstrating their ability to create sustainable businesses while driving social change. So I must congratulate all those 29 startups who have completed this journey, are going to complete. Now, in the current cohort, as have been told, which is in collaboration with IIT Kanpur and City India, we are set to support 75 startups in the domain of agri-tech and clean tech, addressing the core needs of our country. In fact, fast growth of these domains have got global attention, and a very specific emphasis have been given by the government of India. I would like to quote a few sentences which was said by our Honorable Finance Minister during the pre-budget session in the Parliament, which are related to agri-tech growth as well as the clean tech growth. Now, she said that the government would promote private and public investment in post-harvest activities, including aggregation, modern storage, and efficient supply chains, which is expected to help agri-tech startups. Agri-tech startups also expect to benefit from the government's announcement of setting up a corpus of about Indian rupees 1 lakh crore to provide long-term loans for research and innovation. This will benefit not only agri-tech, but also other sectors. The government had extended certain tax benefits for startups till March 31st, 2025 in the budget, which is expected to help agri-tech startups as well. Now, the clean tech actually is one of the fastest growing domain in our country. I think all of us know that. And India is committed to become net zero by 2070. Now, in order to achieve that, the finance minister made several announcements for the clean tech sector in her speech. These include solarizing rooftops of 1 crore households, approximately 20 to 25 gigawatt. I'm electrical engineer, so I can calculate very easily, and provide viability gap funding for offshore wind energy, which is to the tune of 1 gigawatt hour. The government will mandate blending compressed biogas and natural gas for transport and domestic use. India plans to set up coal gasification and liquefaction capacity and support the e-vehicle ecosystem. The country will also launch a scheme for biomanufacturing and biofoundry and implement measures for coastal aquaculture and mariculture. The government's initiative aims to reduce emissions and promote green economic growth. So I'm really happy that the city has selected these two areas for supporting the SIL 2.0, actually, which is very important for our country. Now, in fact, clean tech not only is focused on the renewable energy growth, but also includes energy efficiency, green transportation, water and wastewater treatment, air quality control, and solid waste management. With the great response that we received under this present call, SIIC First and IIT Kanpur look forward to supporting this large cohort by providing access to the ecosystem available at the institute. We have excellent the labs and other mentorship available at IIT Kanpur. I extend my hearty congratulations to the 75 startups selected for the Social Innovation Lab 2 program after a very rigorous evaluation process. You have seen that 905 applications were received, and we zeroed down to only 75. The selected innovators may note that you have been chosen from a highly competitive pool, and your ideas have resonated with our mission of fostering purpose-driven entrepreneurship. Embrace this opportunity to learn, grow, and scale your ventures with the support of our esteemed partners, mentors, and ecosystem enablers. The SIL2 is more than just an accelerator program. It is a platform that celebrates the spirit of innovation and the unwavering determination to create a better tomorrow. We are jointly building an ecosystem that nurtures disruptive ideas, fosters collaboration, empowers visionaries to turn their dreams into reality. Together, we can shape a future where innovation transcends boundaries, empowers communities, and creates a legacy of sustainability and prosperity. I once again welcome all of you to this launch event and wish the SIL 2.0 grand success. Thank you very much. We also welcome Mr. Asu Kullar, who has just joined. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Srivastava, for your kind words. We now move, we would like to invite Mr. Ashu Kullar to the stage. We now have the honor to have with us Mr. Ashu Kullar, the CEO and MD of Citi India. His presence indicates the city's steadfast commitment to enabling progress and inclusion through platforms like Social Innovation Lab. We keenly look forward to Mr. Kullar's address, highlighting Citi's valued partnership in the initiative alongside guidance to maximize societal impact through meaningful innovation and collaborations. Sir, I would like to kindly invite you to the dais and address our audience.
First of all, I'd like to apologize. It took me 80 minutes, what should normally be a half an hour trip from Zakirus and Mahag. So I'm really, really sorry for that, because I know people delayed things and I never like to be late. So this is not good. So first of all, good evening and warm welcome to everybody. And it's an honor to be here to represent Citi and the senior officials from the Government of India, IIT Kanpur, all the team members, all the startups here who have who have graced this occasion. So for us, it's a real honor, and I think we're really proud of our association with the Social Innovation Lab. This is, I think, now the third year, and I think we're going from strength to strength, and I think it's really because of, I must say, the IIT Kanpur, the team, and the participation, the enthusiastic participation of all the startups. I think at Citi, I think for us, the CSR is a very important initiative. And I think our philosophy towards CSR is not just funding, but also trying to have impact. And I think over the last 8-9 years, there are over more than 2 crore lives, individual lives from underprivileged sections, which I think we have touched. And I think there are certain themes we focus on. It's around youth employability, women's empowerment, financial inclusion, art and culture. And then the fifth one, which we are frankly really excited about, is something which we started only a couple of years back, which is around the social innovation and how do you foster the spirit of entrepreneurs in India to do social good. And I think today is really around that pillar of our CSR. In the first edition of the Social Innovation Lab, we provided seed funding to 29 startups across agri, health, and fintech, 12 of which we were very proud to say were women founders. This year we've had over 900 applications, which is 3 times more than what we had last time. So I'm also happy to say that I think the startups last year had generated revenues of over 15 crores, along with the Government of India and the VC funding, another 75 crores. And I think they went on to get over 50 international and national awards. I think, I'm sure IIT Kanpur did not have an easy choice to try and shortlist down to 75 startups, given the quality of responses and the breadth of responses which came. I think as you begin your journey over the next 18 months, I hope you're going to make the most of the opportunity. And this time around, our focus has been around agri, tech, and clean tech. And I'm confident that the Social Innovation Lab will help you furthering your mission in making a positive impact in the societies which you touch. So to all the finalists today, we look forward to the next generation of pioneers in the field, and good luck to all the winners, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kuller, for your kind words. Moving next, we have with us the special address for today's Social Innovation Lab launch event by our chief guest, Dr. Rajneesh, Additional Secretary and Development Commissioner at the Ministry of MSME. With his multifaceted experience across industry leadership, steering technology, startups, and policy advisory, Dr. Rajneesh's perspectives would guide our budding entrepreneurs to sustainably scale their impact. We keenly look forward to your address highlighting the avenues of innovations and leaders to enable the vibrant MSME sector gain global competitiveness. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first thank Mr. Khullar, Mr. Agarwal, Mr. Srivastav, Mr. Bandyopadhyay for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this event. On behalf of Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, let me share with you that our focus is primarily on micro, small and medium enterprises that we have in India. And in that context, I would like to share a few thoughts with you. When we speak of micro, small and medium enterprises, we contribute about 30% to the Indian GDP. We contribute about 36% to 40% to the manufacturing output. The MSMEs contribute about 45% to the Indian exports. And after agriculture, MSME is the single largest employer in Indian economy. I would like to draw your attention to the year 2020, which was a pandemic year. And I want to highlight the resilience of the Indian economy. So we all know prior to the pandemic, the Indian economy was growing at a average rate of about 6%. During pandemic, we took a hit like the other countries across the globe, and the economic growth rate was negative. But the resilience of the Indian economy, the fact lies, it took us only 1 year to turn around. The Indian economy turn around from a negative growth rate to a positive growth rate, which now hovers around 7%. So we in the Ministry of MSME, we take pride in the fact that if we are contributing 30% to the Indian economy, so we also are a part, the MSMEs also are a part to the Indian resilience. If we look at the advanced economies of the world, and if we take CAGR, which is the compounded annual average growth rate of these advanced economies over the last 10 years, say from 2012 till 2022, we find that the US economy, it grew at a rate of about 2%. The UK economy grew at a rate of about 1.6%. The German economy grew at a rate of about 1.1%. The French economy grew at a rate of about 1%. The Japanese economy grew at a rate of 0.7%. Indian economy posted a growth rate of 5.6% in that decade. So that is the strength of the Indian economy. And the other economy who had a slightly higher growth rate, of course, was China. But given the economic headwinds that China is facing, I think the opportunities that lie in India and the time presently, when we speak, we believe that this is an epochal time for us, because we are now already 75th year into our independence, and we are looking at India, how the India would be, say, 100 years down the line from when we got independence. So when we speak of this, as Honorable Prime Minister often talks about the concept of Viksit Bharat, India is an aspirational country. We want to become a part of the Committee of Nations who are advanced economies. And the target is that by 2047, India would be, in fact, before that would be an advanced economy, but we are planning for about the next 25 years, where exactly do we see ourselves, and that too in the context of a changing world. So as I've mentioned, India is an aspirational economy. We aspire to become a 5 trillion economy very soon. In 2014, Indian economy was ranked at number 9. And today, Indian economy is ranked at number 5. And there are estimates by the international organizations that in very near future, Indian economy would, be the third largest economy. And this is the strength of India. The strength of India lies not only in big industries, big corporates. Yes, they are very important, but also the micro, small, and medium enterprises. We believe that it is, if you're doing anything, if you are an enterprise, whether you are a micro enterprise, small enterprise, medium enterprise, or a large enterprise, we are all contributing to the Indian economy. We also believe that every farmer, every shopkeeper, a person who's maybe mending shoes somewhere, a rickshaw puller, everybody contributes to the Indian economy. And when we say that we want to make India a Viksit Bharat, and this concept of Viksit Bharat, we want it to be an inclusive Viksit Bharat wherein everybody contributes. And in this context, I see the initiative which has been taken by the IIT Kanpur and which is funded by the Citibank. It assumes importance. It assumes importance because we know that besides the financial capital which is required by any enterprise to move forward, I think innovation is the key. Innovation is the key to unlock the potential of development. And when we are focusing on innovation, we are actually helping and facilitating an enterprise or an entrepreneur to actually reach his optimal potential. So when we speak to micro, small, and medium enterprises, there are several challenges that we face, but I would like to highlight the 3 challenges that normally in our interactions with the MSMEs, we find that these people share with us. In ministry, we believe that every challenge is an opportunity. So therefore, when we speak of the challenges faced by the MSMEs, these are actually opportunities for the ministry to respond to the needs of the MSMEs. The first challenge that the MSMEs face is the formalization gap. So what we mean by formalization gap is that according to one survey which was done by an international organization a few years ago, rather several years ago, there are more than 6.5 crore MSMEs in India. Out of these 6.5 crore MSMEs, only 1.5 crore MSMEs were formally registered till 1st of March 2023. So the gap between the actual number of MSMEs that exist and the MSMEs which are under the formal network, so we call it the formalization gap. And this is the first challenge that we want to address. And we have taken several steps to address this. We have increased our collaboration with the state governments, with the MSME associations. And as a result, the 1.5 crores registrations under the Udyam portal, which we had in March of last year, from that we have increased to a figure of 2.4 crores. So there has been a jump of more than 60% in 1 year only. Second thing that we have done is we have also incorporated, besides micro, the nano enterprises into the ambit of formalization. So last year we started this. Any enterprise which may not be having a PAN number, or normally these are enterprises which are very, very small. We call them nano enterprises. So for them also we have started onboarding, and we have also started formally incorporating them into our formal system and network. And I'm happy to share that more than 1.5 crore such enterprises, we call them informal micro enterprises, these have been onboarded onto our system. The second gap or the challenge which the MSMEs face is the financial, is the credit gap. So getting credit is essential for any enterprise, whether it is micro, small, or medium. But when we interact with the micro and small sectors, especially, so there is a feeling that access to credit, if some more credit is made available, if they're easily able to get that access and they are able to get that credit at reasonable rates, then the scope for their growth would be higher. And we have taken several measures to address this gap. And I'm happy to report that we have one of our organizations. We work very closely with SIDB, and we have one organization called CGTMSE, Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. CGTMSE was established in the year 2000. The mandate of CGTMSE is basically to give a credit guarantee coverage to the banks that lend to the MSMEs. So basically, CGTMSE is providing credit guarantees to the bank, and the banks, with the aim and purpose that the appetite of banking system to lend to the MSMEs will increase. So from the year of its establishment in 2000 till 2023, the corpus infusion in CGTMSE by Government of India was 7,500 crores. So given the mandate of providing enhanced credit to the MSMEs, last year we were able to get an additional financial corpus infusion into CGTMSE to the tune of 9,000 crores. And we thank Ministry of Finance for helping us out with this. The other thing that we have done is we have revamped the CGTMSE. Now, the credit guarantee fee, which was being charged by CGTMSE, used to be around 2%. It has now come down to 0.5%. And in the lowest slab, it has been further reduced to 0.375%. We have also started to see the results of the changes that we have done, or some facilitation measures that we have taken. So from 2000 till 2022, the total credit guarantees and amount extended by CGTMSE to the micro small sector was about 3 lakh crores. In the current financial year only, we have given credit guarantees of more than 1.5 lakh crores. So what CGTMSE had done in 22 years, we have been able to do 50% of, almost 50% of that in the current financial year. The other thing about the credit gap issue, which is one of the most important challenge for the Ministry of MSME to address, and we work very closely with the Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance. So in the year 2014, the credit extended to micro, small, medium enterprises was about 10 trillion Indian rupees. In the current year, the numbers have increased from 10 trillion to 22 trillion rupees. So this is a huge jump in credit growth, which we have seen. And the credit growth for the micro, small, and medium sector is, I would say, the figures are pretty robust. The other thing is the perception amongst the bankers to lend to the micro, small enterprises. Normally, there is a perceptional issue. So the financial institutions sometimes hesitate to lend to the MSMEs, thinking that maybe the default rates would be high, maybe they'll not be able to repay their loans. But if you look at the actual figures, the NPAs in MSME sector are not high. In fact, the studies and the figures that we have, they show that it is almost at par with any other enterprises. And in fact, for the MSMEs, it may be even lower. So there is a lot of perceptual change, which has now come about. And the ministry is constantly working with the financial institutions towards this end. And we have seen encouraging response from the financial institutions also. So, for example, very recently we started PM Vishwakarma, a new scheme for the artisans and craftspeople. Normally in the ministry, we used to deal only with the incorporated enterprises, but for the first time, we have taken a big leap and a big step forward in hand-holding and assisting the artisans and craftspeople who are actually entrepreneurs and they are not yet registered as enterprises. So we want to handhold their journey from being an entrepreneur to being an enterprise. And I'm happy to share with you that the financial institutions with us, who are working with us, they are playing a very important role in this. In fact, when PM Vishwakarma was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister last year in September, on September 17th, so we were expecting that maybe in 5 years we'll be able to enroll 30 lakh artisans and craftspeople. But I'm happy to share that in a span of 5 months only, we have registered more than 1.3 crore artisans and craftspeople. So this is the potential of the Indian economy. See, when we look at numbers in Government of India, we believe in policy making, which is driven by facts policy making, which is evidence-based policy making, wherein we collate a lot of data and then make the policies. But the beauty of the Indian economy is that the potential, the latent potential which lies is much more. It's beyond the expectation sometimes. As I've mentioned that what we were trying to achieve in 5 years, 5 times more, almost 5 times more, or rather 4 times more we have done already in a span of 5 months. So this is the real potential of the Indian economy. In context of the startups, we have a self-reliant India fund that we operate. So we have a provision of about 50,000 crores. And we operate this fund through, there are several daughter funds with whom we engage, and SBI is a very close partner with us. So the basic idea there is for the banking sector, for normal loans, we reach out to the financial institutions, but we also want that there should be equity investment into the startups and equity investments into the new enterprises. So with that aim, we have started the Self-Reliant India Fund. I would request the professors from IIT also to have a look at that fund, because presently you are doing very good work under the MSME champion scheme, and we have various subcomponents under which we have IPR promotion, we have incubations, and we have MSME innovative scheme, and a lot of host institutions we have already enrolled under the MSME innovative scheme. So IIT Kanpur is our very coveted partner, I would say. And we are very fortunate to have institutions of prominence like IITs who have joined hands with Ministry of MSME in driving our efforts for the promotion of MSMEs. So in context of the Innovation Lab, which is the second edition that you have set up, we feel really proud that this is an engagement between one of our premier academic institutions and one of the premier financial institutions. So you have made the effort and you have taken time out to move from a typical classroom setting into the real world, and you have been interacting with government, you have been interacting with the financial institutions, and based upon the reputation of IIT Kanpur, I believe you have received a lot of support and funding from various financial institutions. I'm sure you will continue to receive it. But the real taste of the pudding lies in its taste. And now that the Social Innovation Lab is there, and this is an initiative funded by the city, we would also want to see the impact that the startups have made. And in that context, normally in government, what we do is we hire a third-party agency to really make an assessment of what kind of impact we have really made, because it gives us a very, very clear and a very transparent and an honest feedback as to what has been the outcome of the endeavors and efforts that we have made. We are very glad to hear that these startups which you have nurtured in your cohort 1, they have received a lot of accolades, a lot of prizes, and they will actually unleash the a, a kind of a multiplier effect, in the course of their journey. So we wish them all the best, and we wish the entire team of IIT Kanpur, who is arduously working in promoting innovations. We wish you all the best, because the innovations that you promote ultimately translate into entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurs actually establish enterprises, and this is where the Ministry of MSME comes in. So any help, any facilitation, any support that is required on behalf of ministry, we assure that we'll be providing it to you. And with this, I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind support and your motivational words. Now we move towards an exciting feature of today's event, a story of real grassroots impact created through Social Innovation Lab's first cohort. I am pleased to call upon Akshay Srivastav, dynamic founder of LCB Fertilizers Private Limited, to come and share his journey and that of the farmers empowered by his lab support. Driven by a vision to boost farmer incomes through novel fertilizers tailored to soil needs, Akshay represents the potential of purpose-driven entrepreneurship nurtured in this space. Having refined solutions deepened through world insights and scaled farmers reach with the help of dedicated mentors and collaborators here. He epitomizes our collective ability to uplift lives when united by empathy. I invite Akshay to tell his story of the real problems faced, milestones achieved, lessons learned, and lives touched due to the Social Innovation Lab, providing young innovators an enabling launchpad for event. Welcome, Akshay.
Hello everyone, this is Akshay from LCB Fertilizers. So presentation, ठीक okay. So मैं हिंदी में बोलूँगा, I think आप लोग comfortable होंगे हिंदी में? Sure. So LCB Fertilizers एक एग्रीटेक स्टार्टअप है जो IIT कानपुर में इंक्यूबेटेड है प्रेजेंट टाइम में. हम 2021 में IIT कानपुर में आए थे. ये प्रेजेंटेशन हम थोड़ा सा पुराने सेगमेंट से लेके चलेंगे कि जर्नी में हमने 2017 से जब चालू किया था, क्या क्या किया, कैसे किया, क्यों किया. द रीजन बिहाइंड दिस प्रेजेंटेशन इज कि जो भी 75 स्टार्टअप्स यहाँ पे अवेलेबल हैं, सो दे कैन थिंक इन एंगल कि कैसे सोशल कॉज करते हुए रेवेन्यू जनरेट किया जा सकता है, कैसे अपना आप अगर बिजनेस कर रहे हो तो बिजनेस में सोशल इम्पैक्ट दिखा सकते हो, what are the major impact या क्यों जरूरी है इकोनॉमिकल थिंकिंग इफ यू आर मूविंग फॉर अ कमर्शियलाइजेशन एस्पेक्ट. सो 2017 की स्टोरी है ये. I was student in Madan Mohan Malviya University with a branch of chemical engineering. कॉलेज में पहुंचे, एक बहुत मिडिल क्लास किसान परिवार से हम आते हैं, जहां पे जब कॉलेज में हम पहुंचे विद होप कि अब सब कुछ मेरा रिजॉल्व हो जाएगा, कॉलेज में जाएंगे, बढ़िया एजुकेशन मिलेगी, टेक्नोलॉजी मिलेगा, वहां पे लेबोरेटरीज मिलेंगी, फैसिलिटीज मिलेंगी और हमको एक बढ़िया सा जॉब मिलेगा. कॉलेज में जाने के बाद ये पता चला उसी समय MMM में केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग ब्रांच खुली थी. और आप जब गांव से कॉलेज आते हो इस होप के साथ आते हो कि अब सारे प्रॉब्लम मेरे रिजॉल्व हैं, और कॉलेज में जाके ये देखते हो कि अभी कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं, कुछ दिख नहीं रहा, आगे क्या करेंगे. उस समय ये लगता है कि अब क्या करना है. तो ये दिमाग में आता है कि कुछ ऐसा करते हैं जो हमें आता हो। उसके लिए सीखने के लिए हम अलग अलग इंडस्ट्रीज, जितने भी हमारे नियर बाई एरिया में फैक्ट्रीज होती थी, चाहे वो शुगर फैक्ट्री हुआ, चाहे डिस्टिलरी हुआ, चाहे एनटीपीसी हुआ, चाहे पेपर इंडस्ट्रीज हुआ, इन सभी में विजिट करना चालू किए, घूमना चालू किए, ट्रेनिंग करना चालू किया और वहां से कुछ आइडिया इकट्ठा करना चालू किया कि क्या कर सकते हैं। आइडिया एलसीबी फर्टिलाइजर यहीं से जनरेट हुआ था कि एग्रीकल्चर एक हमें आता है, एग्रीकल्चर में 2-3 तरह का फर्टिलाइजर जाता है। फर्टिलाइजर में एक केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर होता है, दूसरा ऑर्गेनिक, फिर कंपोस्ट और वर्मी कंपोस्ट, ऐसे मल्टीपल पैरामीटर्स होते हैं। बायो फर्टिलाइजर भी एक होता है। केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर अगर आप बनाने जाओगे तो बहुत हैवी इक्विपमेंट, बहुत हैवी मशीनरी, बहुत हैवी इन्वेस्टमेंट लगेगा, वो आपके पास कैपेसिटी नहीं है। ऑर्गेनिक फर्टिलाइजर मार्केट में बहुत साल से अवेलेबल है, फिर भी केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर क्यों चल रहा है? द रीजन इज कि वो उतना इफिशियंट नहीं है। क्यों इफिशियंट नहीं है, क्या क्या पैरामीटर हो सकते हैं, वहां से हिट करता है कि देयर इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी, क्या हम ऑर्गेनिक या बायो फर्टिलाइजर जो मार्केट में अवेलेबल है उसको उतना इफिशियंट कर सकें कि दैट कैन come in a place or comparable to chemical fertilizer. सो जून 2018 में जब एक आइडिया फ्रेम हो चुका और हमें स्टार्टअप इंडिया मास्टर क्लास के लिए, हम स्टार्टअप इंडिया के एक इवेंट में हमने अप्लाई किया था और हमें प्राइम मिनिस्टर से वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस करने के लिए पहली बार बुलाया गया था। सो उस टाइम पे एक दिमाग में बीज डाली गई थी कि जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने हमें ये स्टेटमेंट बोला कि आप यंग माइंड हो और कोई भी चीज को इस बेसिस पे सोचना कि कमर्शियलाइजेशन पॉइंट पे कि कितने सस्ते में कर सकते हो, कितना इकोनॉमिकली कर सकते हो, कोई रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट इस पैरामीटर पे करो कि ये सस्ता हो, ताकि ज्यादा से ज्यादा ऑडियंस इसको यूज कर सके। 2019 में हम अलग अलग कॉलेज में भटकना चालू किए थे, क्योंकि जब कॉलेज में हम 2018 में अपने 2018-2019 केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग में थे, गूगल करते थे, अलग अलग कॉलेजेस में जाते थे इंटर्नशिप के लिए, कई जगह कॉलेज से गेट पर से भगा दिया जाता था। द रीजन इज कि एंट्री परमिट नहीं थी और कई बहुत मेहनत से एक आईआईटी बीएचयू में हमें इंटर्नशिप की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली, जहां पे हमने विद इन 2 मंथ हमने मोर देन 8 रिसर्च पेपर्स लिखे थे। हमने नैनो पार्टिकल सिंथेसिस सीखा, हमने माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म आइसोलेशन कॉम्बिनेशन सीखा, हम मल्टीपल पैरामीटर्स पे काम कर, अल्टरेशंस पे काम करना चालू किए। वहीं पे हमारी मुलाकात हुई थी हमारी को फाउंडर डॉक्टर नेहा से। डॉक्टर नेहा उस समय पोस्ट डॉक्टरेट थी केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग आईआईटी बीएचयू में। सितंबर 2020 ये चीज समय है जब हम अपनी कंपनी रजिस्टर कर चुके थे 12 फरवरी 2020 में, और हम लैब में थे आईआईटी बीएचयू में, जहां पे ये था कि हमने माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म आइसोलेट करके रखा हुआ था, हमने पौधे जमा करके रखे हुए थे, हम मल्टीपल टेस्टिंग कर रहे थे, एनालिसिस कर रहे थे, और कोविड लग गया। कोविड लगा, उसमें यह था कि पहले 5 दिन की छुट्टी है, फिर 10 दिन की छुट्टी है, फिर 20 दिन की छुट्टी है, फिर 1 महीना। हमारे सामने हमारे सारे माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म खत्म हो गए, हमारे सारे पौधे खत्म हो गए। हमारे पास कोई उतना बढ़िया, अभी डिग्री भी हमारी कंप्लीट नहीं हुई थी, क्योंकि मेरा ग्रेजुएशन 2020 में कंप्लीट हुआ है और डिग्री हमें 21 में अवार्ड हुई है जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड। और उस टाइम पे हमारे पास ना डिग्री थी, ना पैसा था, नथिंग वी हैव। बस एक चीज था, द एक्सपीरियंस व्हाट वी हैव डन इन लास्ट 3 years, द रिसर्च पेपर्स, द आर्टिकल व्हाट वी हैव रिटन, और जो हमने पढ़े थे। सो वहां से समझ में आया कि माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म आप लैब में भी ले आ सकते हो। दूसरा माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म, जैसे यहाँ पे लकड़ी सड़ रही है जंगल में, उसकी मिट्टी में बैसिलस एस्पेजिलस बहुत बढ़िया से मिलेगा। वो क्यों मिलेगा? क्योंकि वहां पे लकड़ी सड़ते हुए पानी बरस रहा है और मिट्टी बहुत अच्छा माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म काउंट रखती है। दलहन के खेत में आपको माइक्रोराइजा या राइजोबिया मिल जाएगा, आपको चावल के खेत में आपको एजिटोबैक्टर का कंटेंट मिल जाएगा। ये सारे माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म आप आइसोलेट तो नहीं कर सकते हो, बट मिट्टी तो उठा के ले आ सकते हो। जिंदा रखने के लिए आप कैरियर के लिए काऊ डंग यूज कर सकते हो। सो उस आइडिया के साथ हमने ये 1.5 kg का पहला फर्मेंटर बनाया था सितंबर 2020 में। हमने 15 अक्टूबर सितंबर में, जब हमें थोड़ा बहुत टेस्टिंग करनी थी, जब प्रोडक्ट हमने डेवलप किया, हमने NABL लैब से जब टेस्टिंग कराई, तो एक एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी रिपोर्ट मिला हमें। इस फर्टिलाइजर में जो हम लोगों ने अलग अलग जगह की मिट्टी उठाई थी, अलग अलग जगह के माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म लिए थे, कैरियर्स यूज किए थे, इसमें 9 पैरामीटर मिले। 9 पैरामीटर, जितने मैक्रो और माइक्रो न्यूट्रिएंट जो 16 पौधे को चाहिए होते हैं, जिसमें से 7 जनरली सॉइल में मिलते हैं और बाकी जो हमें देने होते हैं, ये सारे पैरामीटर्स फर्टिलाइजर में थे। इसमें सारे माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म थे जो ये फर्टिलाइजर में खेत में जाने के बाद सारे पैरामीटर बनाते हैं। बेनिफिट क्या होता कि जब आप इसको खेत में डालोगे, बिकॉज ऑफ द एक्टिव माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म अवेलेबल इन दिस फर्टिलाइजर, क्रिएट्स एन एनवायरमेंट की सारे मैक्रो और माइक्रो न्यूट्रिएंट सॉइल में डेवलप होने लगेगा, तो आपको एडिशनल फर्टिलाइजर देना नहीं पड़ेगा। सो उसको टेस्ट करने के लिए सॉइल में हमने पहली बार 100 kg का एक घर के बगल आंगन में हमने पहला फर्मेंटर बनाया, उससे मटेरियल जो निकला उससे सॉइल में 1 बीघा जमीन में हमने टेस्टिंग की थी। दैनिक जागरण ने हमारी इस पूरे एफर्ट्स को फीचर किया था 15 अक्टूबर 2020। वो एक ऐसा समय था कि हमें पूरे इंडिया के बाहर से ऑर्डर आना चालू हुआ, हमारे पास देने के लिए 1.5 किलो मटेरियल था, और कि हमें 5 टन दे दीजिए, हमें 50 टन दे दीजिए, हमें एक फैक्ट्री दे दीजिए, हमें इतना मटेरियल दे दिए, और हमारे पास देने के लिए था 1.5 kg। उस समय हमने एक टीम बनाई वहां पे, जिसमें विक्साइट एक वेबसाइट होती है, फ्री वेबसाइट। हमने अपने दोस्तों को इकट्ठा किया, ऑनलाइन फोन किया, सबको कॉल किया कि भैया तुम गोरखपुर के हेड बन जाओ, तुम कानपुर के हेड बन जाओ, तुम महाराष्ट्र के हेड बन जाओ, तुम कोल्हापुर के हेड बन जाओ। सब अलग अलग जगह के हेड बने, सबकी फोटो पड़ी, सबका नंबर लिखा। द रीजन जस्ट बिकॉज कि हमें जितने कॉल्स आ रहे थे हम सेग्रीगेट कर सकें। हमने सारे ऑर्डर्स नोट किए, हमने वर्ड मार्केट में फैलाया कि वी आर रनिंग आउट ऑफ स्टॉक जस्ट बिकॉज वी आर गेटिंग वेरी ह्यूज डिमांड फ्रॉम द मार्केट। बट हम आपको खोना नहीं चाहते हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि आप हमारा प्रोडक्ट टेस्ट करिए, ट्राई करिए, थोड़े से एरिया में टेस्ट करिए। हम आपको पोस्ट के माध्यम से, हम आपको बस के माध्यम से, रेलवे के माध्यम से हम सप्लाई करेंगे। अगर आपको सही लगता है देन प्लेस अस ऑर्डर और हम आपको सप्लाई करेंगे। हमने 10,000 करीब 10 से 15,000 रुपए इकट्ठा किया, किसी ने पेमेंट किया, किसी ने नहीं किया। हमने ट्राई किया पैन इंडिया सप्लाई करना। उस समय रिस्पॉन्स आना हमारा चालू हुआ था मार्केट से। हम उस फेज में थे, बहुत था कि अब हम कुछ कर पाएंगे मार्केट में। हमने आईआईटी को बहुत पहले भी मेल से रीच किया था, बट बिकॉज हमारा उतना वैल्यूएबल प्रोडक्ट नहीं था या टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप नहीं थी, उतना रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आया। बट बहुत कंटिन्यूअस टैग करना, रिस्पॉन्स आ रहा था मार्केट से। हम फोटो डालते थे कि कंपैरिजन में सुल्तानपुर से ये रिस्पॉन्स आया, यहाँ से ये रिस्पॉन्स आया, प्रोफेसर बंदोपाध्याय सर यहाँ पे अवेलेबल हैं। सर ने ट्विटर पे हमें रिप्लाई किया, डू यू नीड एनी हेल्प फ्रॉम आईआईटी कानपुर। जस्ट थिंक एंड इमेजिन कि एक गांव का लड़का जिसके पास कुछ नहीं है, जिसके पास कोई पैसा नहीं है, जिसके पास कोई फैसिलिटी नहीं है, और आईआईटी कानपुर के सीनियर प्रोफेसर आपको रिप्लाई करते हैं कि डू यू नीड एनी हेल्प फ्रॉम आईआईटी कानपुर। Not only this, he helped us in getting incubated at IIT Kanpur. He helped us to get grants, multiple grants, like Department of Science and Technology and that Citibank as well. फर्स्ट टाइम हम फरवरी 2021 में सर के पास आए थे। हम अपना पहला ये प्रोडक्ट जो हम लोगों ने डेवलप किया था, जिसमें हमने 3 रुपए करीब पैकेजिंग में इन्वेस्ट किया था और करीब 2 रुपए हमने प्रोडक्शन में इन्वेस्ट किया था, और वो उसी डिब्बे से बना था जो हम लोगों ने बचा के रखा था कि जब भी आईआईटी जाएंगे सर को जरूर हैंड ओवर करेंगे, क्योंकि हम शुरू से सर को टैग करते आ रहे थे। जब हमें मार्केट से डिमांड आना चालू हुआ और दिख रहा था ऑर्डर्स आने चालू हुए हमारे पास, हमने अपने एरिया में भूमि पूजन करके हमने पहला प्रोडक्शन यूनिट डालने का प्लान किया। विजन बढ़िया था, विजन बड़ा था कि 450 टन 450 टन कैपेसिटी के डालेंगे। एक बार में नहीं डालेंगे, थोड़ा थोड़ा करके इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, जितना पैसा बनेगा उतना इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, बट काम करेंगे। एंड फ्रॉम वहां से हमने अपना कंस्ट्रक्शन चालू किया और कुशीनगर में पहली फैक्ट्री डालने के प्रयास में थे। ये फोटो है हमारे वन एंड ओनली द बेस्ट मेंटर विच आईआईटी हैज एवर गिवन टू एलसीबी फर्टिलाइजर इज बिप्लब खेतान पॉल। सर ने हमें हर पॉइंट पे हेल्प किया। हमें बुलाया दिल्ली अपने ऑफिस में, गुजरात हमारी पहली मीटिंग हुई थी। सर ने बहुत अलग अलग पैरामीटर पे टेस्टिंग किए थे हम लोग के। आपको हमें पहले बोले कि क्या ऑटो में बैठ सकते हो, हम वी आर कंफर्टेबल क्योंकि हम तो एकदम गांव के हैं। हम ऑटो में बैठ के ऑफिस में गए। फिर उन्होंने बोला कि गाड़ी में हमारे साथ वापस जा सकते हो, तो हम जा सकते हैं। यहाँ इस बड़े रेस्टोरेंट में खाना खा सकते हो, हाँ खा सकते हैं। खिलाया फिर वहां पे, फिर इस ठेले पे खाना खा सकते हो, हाँ खा सकते हैं, तो वहां पे भी खाया। जस्ट टू चेक व्हाट इज आवर मेंटालिटी और हमारी थिंकिंग क्या है। करीब 12 घंटे की कंटिन्यूअस डिस्कशन में उन्होंने हर चीज एनालाइज किया, प्लानिंग सेट की, विजन डिजाइन किया, एक स्ट्रक्चर तैयार किया कि रैंडम काम करने की जगह पे एक डायरेक्शन में काम करें। हमारी प्लानिंग क्या होनी चाहिए, हमारे हर स्टेप के पीछे क्या इंटेंसिटी होती है, वो सारी चीजें हम सर के थ्रू आज भी काम करते हैं। जब हमें सिटी के थ्रू सपोर्ट मिला SIL 1.0, वहां से हमें करीब हमें 20 लाख रुपए का ग्रांट मिला था एज ए एक्सेलरेटर प्रोग्राम। विजन हमारा डिजाइन था, हम क्या करेंगे, क्यों करेंगे, कैसे करेंगे। आप इसको अपने कंपनी में भी इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हो। जब किसी एग्रीकल्चर या क्लीन टेक स्टार्टअप आप लोग हो, इसमें एग्रीकल्चर में क्या होता है, जनरली कोई भी प्रोडक्ट तभी चलता है जब वर्ड ऑफ माउथ मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटजी होती है। आइदर यू क्रिएट ए एम्प्लॉय, आप कहीं दूसरे एरिया से किसी एरिया में एम्प्लॉय हायर करके भेजने के जगह पे उसी एरिया के किसी फार्मर को उठाओ, उसको अपना रिप्रेजेंटेटिव बनाओ, उसको फ्री में मटेरियल दो, उसको ये मार्जिन ऑफर करो कि अगर तुम हमारे प्रोडक्ट के साथ फार्मिंग करते हो या तुम्हारे इस एरिया में मेरे प्रोडक्ट बिकेंगे, जो भी बिकेंगे उसमें हम आपको इतना मार्जिन ऑफर करेंगे। जहां पे केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर 15 रुपया 20 रुपया देता था, हम 100 रुपये तक का मार्जिन ऑफर किए और वहां से हमारा मार्केट में डिमांड क्रिएट हुआ। SIL की हेल्प से हमने 15 सेल्स रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हायर किए जो आज भी हमारे साथ एसोसिएटेड हैं। हमने यूपी टारगेट किया, हमने बिहार टारगेट किया, हमने झारखंड टारगेट किया, हमने कोल्हापुर महाराष्ट्र टारगेट किया। द रीजन क्योंकि हमको उस एरिया से ऑर्डर्स आ रहे थे। ये फोटो है हमारी जून 2022 में, जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ फुटप्रिंट व्हाट वी वाज क्रिएटिंग इन द मार्केट। हमें ग्राउंड ब्रेकिंग सेरेमनी में बुलाया गया एंड हमें ग्राउंड ब्रेकिंग सेरेमनी में बुलाया गया और वी गॉट अ चांस टू प्रेजेंट टू प्राइम मिनिस्टर, चीफ मिनिस्टर, डिफेंस मिनिस्टर, मल्टीपल डिफरेंट मिनिस्ट्री इन GBC 2.0। अगस्त में हमारे कंस्ट्रक्शन हमने ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीट कर दिए थे। ये सितंबर 2022 की फोटो है। जब ये मैं इसलिए रखा था इसमें जस्ट टू शो कि कंस्ट्रक्शन हमारा कंप्लीट नहीं था, बट विजन था कि हमने फर्मेंटेड टैंक बनाया, हमारे पास उतना ही पैसा था, हमने फर्मेंटेड टैंक बना करके हमने प्रोडक्शन चालू किया। प्रोडक्शन से हमने मार्केट में सप्लाई किया, रेवेन्यू कलेक्ट किया, रेवेन्यू फिर हमने इन्वेस्ट किया मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट में। हमारा जब सिटी क्लोज हुआ, सिटी के थ्रू हमने मल्टीपल प्रोडक्ट्स डेवलप किए। कुछ प्रोडक्ट R&D फेज में कंप्लीट थे, कुछ हमने कमर्शियलाइज किए, जिसमें नव्य कोश हमारा ट्रेडमार्क रजिस्टर्ड ग्रांटेड प्रोडक्ट है, जिसमें हम इसको 50 kg बैग और 1 kg के पैकेट के थ्रू मार्केट में कमर्शियलाइज करते हैं। नैनो कोटेड सीड एंड फर्टिलाइजर कैप्सूल, ये ऐसा कैप्सूल है विच इंक्लूड सुपर एब्जॉर्बेंट पॉलीमर, विच इंक्लूड नैनो पार्टिकल, विच इंक्लूड माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म कंसोर्शिया। एक पौधा एक कैप्सूल एक पौधे में डाला, एक ग्लास पानी डाला, फॉर नेक्स्ट 1.5 month प्लांट विल नॉट रिक्वायर आइदर irrigation nor fertilizer nor any kind of support throughout that 1.5 month. So just wrapping it up, because of multiple support what we got from IIT Kanpur और उसका जो impact अभी है हमारा, we got certified from Indian Council of Agriculture Research as well, जिन्होंने ये proof किया हमारे fertilizer को कि whether it is chemical, whether it is organic, whether it is hybrid, chemical plus organic, Navvecos not only proved strongly on parameter more than 50 parameters की ये सस्ता है, 30% से ज्यादा सस्ता है, इसने 15 से 20% से ज्यादा यील्ड लेके आया, ये मैच्योरिटी डेट को मिनिमाइज किया, इसने रूट स्ट्रेंथन किया, इसने वाटर होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी प्रमोट की, सारे पैरामीटर्स पे ऑलमोस्ट हम लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया एज कंपेयर टू दैट। इसी के इम्पैक्ट सिटी के जो हमने सिटी के थ्रू हमने जो फुटप्रिंट क्रिएट किया, वी गॉट ए ऑर्डर फ्रॉम बिल एंड मिलिंडा गेट्स फाउंडेशन एज वेल। हम 40 लाख का परचेज ऑर्डर हमें मिला और हमने मार्केट में पूरा यूपी और उड़ीसा सप्लाई किया। अभी जो हमारा मॉडल है, हम फ्रेंचाइजी यूनिट्स में एंटर कर चुके हैं, अलग अलग एरिया में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स डालते हैं ताकि हम अपने लॉजिस्टिक को मिनिमाइज करें, मैक्सिमम प्रोडक्शन करें। करंटली वी आर ऑपरेटिंग विथ 850 टन पर मंथ कैपेसिटी, और जब हम सिटी हमें मिला था we was in a production capacity of 50 ton per month, and now we are manufacturing with 850 ton per month। 3 और यूनिट हमारी लाइंड अप है, जिसके बाद हम 1400 टन पर मंथ बाय द एंड ऑफ जून हम करने लगेंगे। थैंक यू सो मच फ्रॉम माय साइड।
Thank you. Thank you, Akshay. Your story is really inspiring. Congratulations for all the achievement that you've received, and wish you the best for future. We are always there with you. Now it's finally here, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for so long. We are about to reveal the second chosen cohort of Social Innovation Lab. These 75 startups are the epitome of creativity and dedication to using sustainable agri-tech and clean tech solutions to transform our society. They have been carefully selected from 900 plus applications to represent the innovative spirit that this lab aims to promote and has the potential to have a major social impact. Join me in congratulating on their next journey as they set out to completely transform the social business scene. To every startup that was chosen, congratulations. Let us celebrate their outstanding accomplishments and the upcoming life-changing adventure by giving them a round of big applause. I'm announcing your names. Kindly walk to the stage and assemble for a photograph. I would also like to request the city team who has given us support all the time to be on the stage. Team, please be here. Yes, so we will have two times. So agri-tech will be here and then clean tech will be here. Different. Sir, आप लोग बैठे रहते हैं? ये लोग पीछे आगे खड़े हो जाएंगे। अच्छा, तुम नहीं आएंगे। Startups, please start coming. I'm announcing your name. First, we will take up the agri-tech cohort. Agronex Services. Please walk up to the stage. Saptkrishi. Innotech Agri Posticum. Phytomark. ProofTech. Kashit Innovations. AgroSure Products and Innovations. Meraki Eco Solutions. Crop Domain. Kafakuva Innovations. Open Spectrum AI. Surabhi Agro Industries. Recitec Organic. Techno Orchard. Amto Innovations. Ferrobank Technologies. Hide Hemp India. Insect Farm. Pacing Grass. Kashmir Biotech. AgroSil. Viva Fika Sustainable Solutions. Samak Technologies. Axon Farm Machinery. Royal Bengal Green Tech. Shimmer Tech. Polycycling Solutions. Felicia Inventions. E-Category Systems. Plantera Banana Fibers. Villamart Aquasynthesis. Good Grams. Agrify, Agrinov Technologies, Think Raw Innovative Systems, Seventh Horse Agritech, Sushruta Scientific Solutions. This is the Agritech cohort. A few of you, please shift this side. Please shift this side. Please shift this side. A few of you can kneel down and plant a few. Yeah, move a little. No, I can sit. Yes, like this also. No? Okay. Please come this side. Smile everyone here for the photograph. Thank you so much. Now congratulations to you all. Very big congratulations. Now announcing the clean tech cohort. Yes, yes. The clean tech cohort may line up, please. Rick Stract. The IT Kanpur team may also please be on stage. Shweta, come up. Charles, please. Extract, Aperio Energy, Bubble Net Wash, Sasnovation Ventures, Jal Sevak Solutions, Green Trek, Clean Water, Arc Robotics, Zero Earth, Uncarbon, Miral Aerospace, Climate Labs, Aro Shicotech, Fluix, TerraCarb, Greenovate Solutions, Swasvayu Clean Tech, Board Resources, Virya Paramita Energy, Arkle Energy Solutions, Agnitech Forge, Hythane Labs, Unico Green Earth, Pryogic, Vayurja, Dream Aerospace, Vasundhara Biofibers, Prasanos, Bastar se Bazaar Tak, Volkswagen Technologies, Jetson Robotics, Sunsync Technologies, Zaptic Research, Aerobos Environment Solution, Eriki Labs, Symmetricals, Aethron Aerospace, Mild Cares. Please adjust yourselves on the stage. Yes. I hope all of you are here. We're waiting for you. You can excuse me. I hope everyone is here. Smile for the photograph, please. Congratulations, everyone. Wish you all the best. Thank you, everyone. I request you all to take your seats. We're waiting for you to settle down. Now it's my pleasure to invite Professor Amitabha Bandyopadhyay, a renowned scientist, the head of Biological Sciences and Bioengineering Department at IIT Kanpur, and the co-professor in charge of Innovation Incubation Center at IIT Kanpur, to lead our valedictory session as we bring this inspirational event to a close.
Thanks, Vasala. Dr. Rajneesh, ASMSME, Mr. Ashok Khullar, City India CEO, my friend Shahin and the entire City team, all the esteemed mentors that are in this hall, and my colleagues at SIIC, I request you all to join me in congratulating this 75 fantastic heroes for the day. They are the real toast of the evening. I know that I am standing between you and dinner, so I will keep it brief. This is for those 75. Today, when I walked in, Akshay, whom you have heard just now, came and reported to me that he just signed a deal with a very large PSU for 25 new production plant. Another co-awardee, Nikki Jha, came and told me that this month he has closed at 1 crore rupee. Now, this is the standard routine at SIIC IIT Kanpur, that every day startups, one startup or the other, achieve success. In fact, you will have to really work hard to fail at SIIC because our success rate is above 75%. And we do not mean that you have to be an unicorn, because we are very much aware that we groom hardware startups, product startups. So we are very happy if you have an annual turnover of 20, 30 crore, you are self-sustainable after 5 years, we count that as a success. Because as you can see, as was shown by Dr. Nikhil Agarwal, that makes real impact. You create a lot of jobs, you solve problems that are real, and you make a real impact. So, there are few things that I would like to tell you, that what is awaiting you at IIT Kanpur? Why is it that we have such a high success rate? Many startups at your stage, particularly the early stage startups, you may think that it is the money that only matters. Let me tell you emphatically that money takes you only so far. It is the ambience. It is the company that you have that takes you where you will eventually get to. You should go to our website and check the mentors that we have.
to get to such quality mentors is not trivial. And at IIT Kanpur, they are offered on a platter to you. Now it is up to you whether you will really walk the extra steps to seek their help. Like today you heard Chandas. Chandas is an alumnus of IIT Kanpur. He is associated with the incubator for last, almost 10 years. And he has helped so many companies. So did, Akshay told you about Biplab. Biplab is my school classmate. Okay, he is associated with the incubator only because he loves to do this. But you have to go and quote them and make them your friend, philosopher, guide for the journey. IIT Kanpur, I think, is the only incubator where you are assured access to any infrastructure of the institute that has been built over last 60 years, and you will have unfettered access to that. I am reasonably confident that once you have developed your product prototype, now you are ready to go to the market, you will need two things: a conduit to go to the market. If you are in the campus, every year you will meet so many alumni who are really well placed. They will inevitably come to the incubator and meet and greet the startups. You will get an opportunity to interact with them. And you never know, one of them might take a liking to your company. They might decide to mentor you. They might decide to invest in your company. And that actually happens real time. Like I'll tell you about a startup called Kritsnam that was making this water meters. And then one day, a very celebrated industrialist from Hyderabad, Dr. BVR Mohan Reddy, who is an alumnus, he was in the campus. I introduced him to the Krishnam team. And today, Dr. Reddy is their mentor. He has funded in the company. He has induced other alumni to fund in the company. And now they are a big business based out of Hyderabad. And I can give you so many stories. So, and finally, I am confident that IIT Kanpur and SIIC is the only academic incubator in the country that has its own investment corpus of 50 crore rupees. No other incubator has this. And that is thanks to the SIDBI Bank, which has been working with us for quite some time. Now, what is it that is actually needed to succeed? Like when Srikanth showed you that his slides, and I'm really bad with names. The famous badminton player, see, like now you'll tell that IIT professor cannot remember the name of the badminton player. But like you need that zeal. You need to be relentless. You heard Akshay's story. If you slide into a comfort zone, I can guarantee that you will fail. You have to, you cannot become too comfortable with the funding, with the infrastructure, with all of that. You have to be ambitious. You have to set your goal high enough. You will not reach there, but you will reach somewhere close. And if you set a very low goal, you may reach the goal, but that will not take you anywhere. So that will be our job. We will keep on pushing you. We will, make you very uncomfortable. That's, kind of my job. Only today I am nice. So that's what it is. So welcome to IIT Kanpur campus. It is almost inching towards the JEE success rate. 75 out of 900 is 8%. It's a big deal. So you should be really proud of yourself and start your journey to success from tomorrow. Now, having said that, now I will switch my role because I have to thank a whole lot of people. First, I do not know how to thank Citibank enough. This is historic, Mr. Khullar and Shaheen and the whole team, that a corporate entity bestowed so much trust on an academic institution, and more importantly, on 75 of you, to launch such a large cohort for social causes. So clearly, they are not looking for making profit out of it. It is their CSR contribution. But you have to remember every day that they trusted you, and you have to, make sure that it comes through good, okay, by your success. I must thank our mentors and the evaluators to screen through 900 applications in 3 weeks, Sudhaji, I think, is no mean task. Like, they have spent hours at a stretch and every day to make this happen, because we could not afford to miss good applications or misjudge an application. So, like, no effort was spared to do a very thorough and honest job. So thank you, all the mentors and the evaluators. All of these are done on a very, very tight timeline. So the entire team by Shudhaji, Vatsala, and the whole team, you should really stand up and, take our kudos. It was no mean feat. Yeah. I learned that the team was working till 2 a.m. last night to make sure that everything goes fine today here. So many, many, many thanks. And of course, the entire SIIC team, it is not just the team that works as the horizontal for new program onboarding, but the whole team, the media team, the different verticals, and everybody. Without a teamwork, it is never possible to pull off an event of such large scale, which is so far away from our home, that is IIT Kanpur. So my congratulations to entire SIIC team. And of course, Nikhil, Piyush ji, and Professor Srivastav for being the guiding force, and Ankush. Unfortunately, he is not here today. He is traveling abroad. So thanks to all of them. And finally, the startups. Thank you so much for showing up, all of you. It is a rare thing that all the 75 startups are here today. Thank you very, very much. And that's it. I will take your leave, and there will be dinner, and I have been given something. Okay. So there is a request that there will be a photograph with people on the dais with the whole city team, and we will do that after my speech. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being here with us during this launch of Social Innovation Lab at IIT Kanpur Cohort 2. So can we take a photograph? Yes, okay. So inviting city team on the stage and SIIC team. Piyush sir, if you are here, please join us. Please do it quickly. Hope you all had a wonderful evening. Congratulations again to the startups. Thank you so much to all our mentors, our investors for coming in here at one call. I request you all to join at the dinner, at the networking dinner. Please use the event wisely. Sudha ma'am? Poona, Abhishek, Rishabh, Charles, Anushri, please come up. Thank you, everyone. Please enjoy your dinner. And the IT Kanpur team is here to help you with any queries that the startups have.